we're going to be talking about the fundamentals for high performance. And I want to be super, super clear. I'm not talking about like losing weight or being a freaking high profile elite athlete. I'm talking about high performance as a professional out there in the world. And so if you've been looking for like a way to get things under control, this session is for you. I'm Jesse. And the reason I do these live streams is because I want to share the techniques and the tools that help me manage multiple clients, multiple projects. They are also the things that I've used in my career that have helped me overcome and triumph and promote and serve in ways that I could never have expected, so that I could help you have more fun doing all the amazing things that you love and care to do. On the last after party, me and Craig were talking, and it became clear to me that I've been talking about a lot of stuff, right? The buckets and the colors and all the other things, but I've overlooked, like I kind of skipped past the fundamentals, the basics of like just getting started with the tool. Which tool? The Daily Domination board. And so first, if you want the Daily Domination board, drop double D in the comments and I'll hook you up with the link. And I'm sure it's probably in the chat or the show notes or something. But anyways, drop double D in the comments and I will hook you up with the link to get that bad boy. And so the three things, like the three fundamentals that we're going to go over today are the task dump, reflection, and bucketizing. We're going to jump straight into the task dump. And this is the tool, right? This is the magical, wonderful tool that I love to use for managing my daily tasks. So this session is just specifically on daily stuff, right? Like not no long-term planning, no scheduling. We're not even getting into our calendar. All we're going to be talking about is daily task management. And so I've already kind of created a little sample for us to get started. And so this is an example of the to-do column, right? There's already a to-do column with all the instructions you need to like get started with the Daily Domination board. But I want to kind of walk you through just how simple it can be if you've never used Trello, because that's my tool of choice. There's a bunch out there. But if you've never used Trello, this is precisely what I am working in right now, the Trello board. And so in this example to-do column, I've already created some cards, right? Prep for live stream, which I did before I hit the go live. So I'm going to move that to done. Very simple, right? I click and drag. Now this can also be done on your phone, which I do a little bit, but I mostly do it on my desktop. That's entirely up to you. So what are we doing right now? We're doing the live stream, right? So that goes into the doing column. Now, the other things I have left for today are the after party, which is going to be directly after this thing. Then I have a 16-mile bike ride. Ooh, let's see how I do on that. And then produce content for the week. After I finish the live stream, I'm going to drag the live stream card into the done column. And then I'm going to bring the after party card. I know it seems like, what? That's kind of kindergarten. But the important part, like for you to get started, is to do the task dump like I had already done, right? I had all of these cards over here in my to-do. So the way I go about it is every morning I get in here, yes, every morning, and I go to my calendar or whatever, the list of a bazillion things I have in my head, and I just dump them out, right? I get them out of my head. And the way I do that is I click this little button here, add card. And then I type in what I want to do. Let's see, engage with the comments, right? Super simple. What else do I need to do? I need to fold laundry, pick up, order groceries, because I don't pick up groceries anymore. I get them delivered. And so that's the idea. You get up in the morning, or some people like to like set the stage for tomorrow. So maybe the evening time is a good time for you to like outline all the tasks, the things that you want to get done tomorrow. Do it in the evening. I can't do that because when I try to do that in the evening, what ends up happening is I end up working because I'm looking at it all like, oh, well, I could do this. This is 10 minutes. This is 30 minutes. And then it's midnight. And so for me, my discipline is like after 6 p.m., like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to do any planning. I might execute a couple more things, but that's it. Because if I start thinking about the stuff I need to do tomorrow, I start working on them and then I, cut into my sleep. The main point there is whatever works best for you. I think the morning and the evening are really good times to do the task dump. And again, I'm going to go back to the board so you can see what I'm talking about. All we're talking about right now is the task dump. And what we do is in that to-do column, we just create the things that we need to do. I'm going to be silly here, but I got to brush my teeth, right? I got to take a shower. Boom. You don't have to be that granular, but I know some people that are, and that's why I want to give that example. I kind of just focus on like the hard buttons that I need to push to keep the ball rolling on all of the things that I have going on. Here's another key point that I want you to think about. When you're creating your task dump, like just getting the stuff out of your head or getting it from your calendar or getting it from the to-do list that you had yesterday, don't worry about the order. It doesn't matter. Like right now, it's just a task dump. You're just getting all of the things out of your head, the stuff that you know you want to get done today. Again, if you do this in the morning, if your task dump period is in the evening, it's all the things that you want to get done tomorrow or the things that you need to get done tomorrow. It doesn't matter. The sequence or the order absolutely does not matter. And here's why. When you go back to the board, and if you're listening to this, there's a link for the YouTube thing so you can come in and watch this. So check that out. But anyways, it doesn't matter at all what order that I put those things in, because I'm going to show you some magic. And I love this because it's so flexible. I can come in here and then I could just say, you know what, I'm going to take a shower first in the morning. So all I got to do is click on it and move it in the sequence that I want to do them, right? So I moved, take a shower, brush my teeth. Then I got prepped for live stream, after party. You know what? I don't want to do my bike ride in the middle of the day because I'm a sweat bucket. So I'm going to drop that down after produce content for the week and then engage with the comments. I'm going to put that over here right after live stream. And so the point of that is just so that you can see it's flex. Like it doesn't get the task done, get the stuff out of your head, and then start organizing them in the sequence that you want to do the things, that you intend to do the things, right? Now, one thing I want to point out is there's no colors here, right? It's just kind of white and boring and like, that's not like my board is like, it's like a rainbow, man. I got all kinds of colors. But what I'm talking about or what I'm sharing for you is so that you can see how easy it is just to get started. Don't get caught up on what the buckets are and all the other stuff that I've talked about so far, right? You can do that later. You can do it progressively. Actually, I super recommend that you do it progressively, because trying to get it perfect right out of the gate all in one shot, that kind of gives you handcuffs. My advice is always start messy, do it wrong, but start. The only wrong way to do it is to hesitate and not start and not take action. All right. So we've done the task dump. Now we're going to kind of simulate and walk through like, okay, if I already done that, then what? So I'm going to super fast simulate going through the thing, right? So here we go back to the Daily Domination board. And so like pretend, right? Can y'all pretend with me? We're going to say I already done, right? I took a shower, I brushed my teeth, I prepped for the live stream, I did the live. So everything has been moved to done, right? This is the evening. And the way I use this is I move them over as I complete them, because it also, having my to-do list here helps remind me, what was I thinking in the morning? There was some logic or reasoning behind it. Actually, there's a lot of thinking that I put into like my sequencing. It's one of the things I do first thing in the morning, high leverage activities, and then all the other stuff, I just kind of fill it in. And then I'm like, okay, what do I need to do next? I got to do the after party. Did the after party, moved it to doing, then I moved it to done. So on and so forth, right? So we're just going to say it's the end of the day. Travel, take a fantastic voyage with me into the future. So now it is Saturday evening, and I've completed all the tasks that I had in my to-do list. So this is where we get into the reflection piece. And so when you think about reflection, maybe think about it in terms of like analysis, or evaluation, not necessarily from the standpoint of like grading yourself, more from the perspective of really taking a look at what are the things that I spend time on. My recommendation is going to be this, that you continue to build this over a week or maybe 2 or 3 days. Why? Because this is where we learn what are the things that did I get all of the stuff done or not. And so, for example, let's go back to the board. Boom, back to the board. Let's say, because this happens a lot, right? Let's say it's the end of the day and I didn't get my bike ride in. This happens all the time. There's tasks that I plan to get done today, but I didn't get done. So I will leave them in the to-do column. And then I will add the next list of stuff that I'm going to get done on the next day and so on. What I'm looking at is like, okay, there's a couple of things that they're like sticking in my to-do column and I'm not getting them done. Why? That's the reflection question, is why am I not executing these things that I said were important, that I had committed to getting done for one reason or another? There's going to be a million different answers for the different things, but the important thing is to be clear about, okay, what is that? What's keeping me from doing that? And that's the magic key. What is keeping me from doing that? Sometimes it's because I didn't want to do it. It's not really a great answer. But then there's a bigger question, right? Okay, then why do you keep putting it on the board? Do you need to do it? Freaking do it. Kind of figuring that out and then evaluating myself. This takes us back to the high performance idea, right? When I have all of these things and I can look and say, okay, this is what I said I was going to do. You ever heard of the say-do ratio? So what I said I was going to do, this is what I actually did. So personal accountability, which I think is the only type of accountability, is exactly what I'm talking about here. Looking at the things I didn't get done, what's keeping me from getting done, and what do I need to do so that I can execute and get those things done in the future, right? Like it's that simple. Come up with a plan, and that will improve your execution. If you got any comments, if I'm not making sense, let me know, man. Ask me. I'm happy to answer them, like for real. Now, the other part of reflection is like, one, I'm looking at what didn't I get done, why not, and how do I adjust going forward? The next part is, how do we bucketize? Like, I do a lot of stuff. You do a lot of stuff. And it's like, sure, it's all connected to you. But if I can see them in terms of what area or what arena are they in, I start getting to learn, like, where do I spend most of my time? So let's go back to the board. Dun, dun, dun. This level of reflection, right? On one hand is, okay, I missed the target. Why? What kept me from hitting the target? The next one is, okay, I've been doing this, right? I created my cards. I dragged them over. But all it looks like is a bunch of tasks. And I think this is where there's a lot of like improvement or huge, heavy gains to be had, is by really understanding, where do I spend all my time? What things do I commit to and actually execute? Because they're in the done column. I did them. Now, that takes us to bucketizing. And I'm pretty sure that's like not a real word. But bucketize, like, what are the buckets that I spend most of my time in? I know what my personal buckets are. I don't know what your buckets are. And a lot of people ask me, like, what are the standard buckets? Are there some that I should create? It's like, well, I hesitate to answer that question, because this thing needs to be super personal and super customized to you. And it has the flexibility for that. But what is required is that you use the thing to figure it out. I will say this, like, if you don't know where to get started and what buckets to use, this isn't what I use, but this is intended to help you get started. Work, home, physical fitness, family. By home, I mean chores and that kind of crap, right? Like dishes and laundry and wash the car and mow the lawn and all of those things. So maybe instead of home, think of it as chores. Work, chores, family, fitness. Super, super basic. That's not like a silver bullet, hard and fast, the only things to track. I'm just trying to give you something to start if that helps you. But the real way to do that is do the reflection part, right? Now we're going to look at the week. So I'm looking at the done column here. I say, take a shower. Okay, so I did take a shower. I brushed my teeth. Those kind of fall in the same bucket. So now I'm going to click on that card. And you see this here's the beautiful thing, labels. Okay, so I take a shower and I brush my teeth every day. Again, I'm being silly because this isn't what I typically track, but it's a simple example. I'm going to go to labels. And you know what? I'm going to pick the blue label and I'm going to call it personal hygiene. Hygiene. I'm probably not going to spell it right, but I don't care. Boom. So now I have a label, a bucket of personal hygiene. And so what else do I do that I completed, like that I actually did, that falls in that bucket? Oh, I brushed my teeth too. Awesome. Okay. So now I created another bucket. Now I'm going to look some more. What else do I have in here that I got done in a day or a week, whatever time horizon makes most sense to you? Look at it from that perspective. I do my reflection after the week. So my done column gets filled up with all the stuff I got during the day, but it's because I already have my buckets. So for you to create your buckets, maybe you do your reflection daily, right? Whatever works for you. So anyways, what else kind of falls in the same bucket, the same rail? So I got prep for live stream, engage with the comments, after party, produce content for the week. Well, those are a little bit different. So you know what? This stuff in the prep for live stream, we're just going to call it live streaming. You know what? I'm going to be silly. I'm going to call it attention seeking because y'all know that's what I do, AKA live streaming, right? That's now my bucket because I do a lot of things that are in that bucket. So if I keep going down, so prepping for the live stream, yep. Actually live streaming, yep. I'm going to give it that bucket. Engage with the comments, yep. That falls in the same bucket. The after party absolutely falls in the same bucket. Produce content for the week, I think that would qualify as me attention seeking. And so that's another bucket. Now I could see I got two buckets, right? Personal hygiene and the stuff I do for the live stream. And speaking of engage with the comments, we got some comments coming in. My brother Mario Acosta says color coding. Oh, agreed. Color coding always helps streamline things and helps minimize confusion and mistakes. I agree a bazillion percent, Mario. It helps me digest information quickly, make decisions quickly, do evaluations super, super quickly because it's color coded. Now, you don't have to color code it, but I recommend that you do because it'll help you see where we spend our time. And so back to the board, one more example of like the actual bucketizing. And so you can see down here in the bottom, I have two things: fold laundry, order groceries. Those kind of are in the same bucket. So I'm going to create a label and I'm going to pick orange and I'm just going to say chores, right? Because those are just chores that I have to do. Boom. So now I have a bucket. Boom. Fold laundry. Bam. Order groceries. Boom. Boom. Chores. So what did we just do? What we did was we went from super, super basic, create the damn card over here, morning, AM, task dump. What are the things that I need to get done that I am committed to getting done today? And then I create a card for every single one. Doesn't matter what order they're in. We're just doing a task dump. And then we go through and execute. And after we execute, we do some reflection. The first wave of reflection is, what did I not get done? What is my say-do ratio today? And there's no 100%. There's no grades. I'm not going to tell anybody. Nobody else is going to want to read all your stuff either because nobody's ever asked to read all my stuff. Anyways, what did I get done? I'm going to look into those later, but what did I not get done? What's keeping me from getting it done? Do I even care? Does it need to be a thing? Because the fact that it didn't get done is a signal that maybe we're overcommitted. Maybe it's something that didn't have the importance I thought it did. Maybe it was an ask or a request or demand from somebody that likes to make demands and requests and then forgets all about them, right? Like they didn't really need it. It was just a knee-jerk reaction. Doesn't matter. But the idea is, if it's still in the to-do column at the end of the day or the week or whatever your reflection period is, we need to evaluate why and then take action to make it happen or to take it off the damn board completely. After we do that reflection, then we look at the big bucket, right? For the day or the week. Where do I spend most of my time? What are the things, the similarities of all the stuff that I'm doing? Because right now, again, this is starting from scratch, starting from zero. Because what you want to do next, after you got the task dump figured out and handled, and you do the discipline of moving the things over, working on one thing at a time, then we want to say, okay, now we got some enough data or information, data points to process through and generate some bucketizing that are personalized, customized, only relevant to me. And so that's what we did on the back half, right? I went in there and I said, oh, look, take a shower, brush my teeth. What did I do? I said, well, you know what? I'm going to create a label for it. And then I picked the color blue. And then I hit the little pencil button and I said personal hygiene. That's one bucket. Again, That's a silly example, but hopefully it sticks in your head. Now, what's super, super important for anybody, like if you're kind of like me, that you want to be perfect and hit a grand slam every time you come up to bat, get over it. Because this thing is super duper flexible, right? Let's say I named it attention seeking, aka live streaming. And then I say, man, you know what? I don't really like the name. Not a problem. I can come in here and change it, right? I want to be professional, and I'm going to say broadcasting, because that just makes me feel so awesome. Boom. And look, it went back and changed it for all of them. And so my point is, don't worry about trying to get it all right in the first damn shot. Give yourself permission to tinker and experiment, because it is super, super flexible and adaptable to you and the things that you have going on. And so that's it. If you're starting from zero and you've never used the Trello board, if you've never done the Daily Domination, also, again, drop double D in the comments and I'll hook you up with the link so you can get this Daily Domination template. I'm going to clean it up. I'll take all the junk that I just added. Drop double D in the comments and I'll hook you up with that bad boy. And now the comments start flooding. I love this. Dr. Alejandra, she says, so many tools that can really make a difference in our productivity. Yes, ma'am. And I like the thing that's helped me tremendously, Dr. Ale, is they help me manage me. And I need a lot of help managing me. Oh, look, we got a shout out. Mr. Denver says, I started using the double D template this week. Thank you for the resource. Consistency is the magic bullet. Denver, bro, you just made my day. Thank you, man. I'm glad it's helpful to you. Hopefully, and folks, if y'all don't know, like, you can get the template, you got to press the button, create a template. I mean, you don't have to. You could put your stuff in there, but I go in there and clean stuff out because it's a template for anybody to see and everybody can see your stuff. So create the template and then you can customize it and do your own thing with it, which I'm assuming, my brother, Mr. Denver, you have already done. But I'm glad you're using that, my friend. And folks, appreciate y'all very much. Be kind to yourself. Be cool. And we'll talk at you next time. Peace. Thank you for sticking it out all the way to the end. I know you got a whole lot of stuff going on. And in appreciation for the gift of time that you have given this episode, I want to offer you a free PDF of my book, Becoming the Promise You're Intended to Be. The link for that bad boy is down in the show notes. Hit it. You don't even have to give me your email address. There's a link in there. You just click that button and you can download the PDF. And if you share it with somebody that you know who might feel stuck or be caught up in self-destructive behaviors, that would be the ultimate. You sharing that increases the likelihood that it's going to help one more person. And if it does help one more person, then you're contributing to me becoming the promise I am intended to be. Be kind to yourself, be cool, and we'll talk at you next time. Peace.